let's take a look now at using Gaussian elimination. And that really is just using row operations to solve a system. So we're also going to check it on the calculator, right? That's always fun. So let's take a look at what we're doing here. I'm going to take a look at what we mean by row operations. Well, here's what we mean by row operations. Whoa, there we go. What we mean by row operations is we can do three things that are considered row operations that are legal in order to solve by Gaussian elimination. The first thing we can do is we can exchange two rows. Like I could switch these rows if I wanted to. No reason why we can't, right? They represent a system, and I know that I could put the system in a different order, right? The second equation could go on the top could go on the bottom. Okay. Second thing is I could multiply all the entries in a row by some non-zero number, meaning I could multiply this whole row by 5 if I wanted to. That would be just like taking that equation and multiplying both sides of the equation by some number, non-zero number, right? We don't want it to disappear on us. And the third thing we can do is we can add a non-zero multiple of a row to another row. So we're going to take a look at what those look like right now as we move toward the goal in Gaussian elimination, and that would be this right here. This is our goal, right? If we don't know where we're going, any road will get there, right? So let's make sure that we have in the forefront of our mind the goal. The goal will be to get a 1 in the top left corner and a 1 in the bottom right corner. Then we're going to get some zeros here and here. And really what this would mean, right, is that if this is x and this is y, the x column and the y column, then this would mean that 1x is equal to whatever number is showing right here, and that 1y is equal to the other number that's showing. In other words, we would have it solved. Okay, so that's our goal. So let's, come back here. So let's take a look at using row operations in order to get to this goal. All right. When we're doing this, sorry about this, I think I need some more padding on my little tablet here. Here we go. In order to get to this goal, we're going to always start with trying to get the top left corner, okay, to be a 1. That's my goal. Get the top left corner to be a 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply, use my second rule for row operations, multiply all of the entries in that row by some non-zero number. Well, think about it this way. I'm going to divide by, I'm going to really just multiply by a third. I want that to be a 1, so I'm just going to basically divide that whole row by 3, which is the same thing as multiplying by a third. So let me show you how we write this. We write this, what we've done, this way. I'm going to take a third of row 1 and replace it with the result. That's going to be my new row 1. Okay, so let's take a look. A third of 3, let me do it this way. A third of 3 is 1. A third of 1 is a third. And a third of negative 3 is negative 1. Now, I'm going to go ahead and copy the second row as it was unchanged, right? Unaltered. Okie doke. So let's take a look at what I just did. I took this top row here, I did this to it, and it became this. All right? So I took a third of the top, and there we go. Now I have my 1 in this little spot right here. That's what I wanted. I want a 1 right there. Now I'm going to use that 1, use this 1 to create this 0. And I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to use the 1 to create a 0 in that position there on the bottom left. Here we go. What I'd like to do is I'd like to temporarily temporarily make this 1 into a negative 3. And then add that whole row to the bottom row to get a new bottom row. Here's what I mean by that. Let's take a look. I'm going to temporarily, now this is going to be reminding me that this is a temporarily. I'm going to temporarily multiply row 1, okay, by negative 3. I'm going to multiply row 1 by negative 3. I'm going to add it to row 2, And that's going to replace my row 2 with the new row 2. All right, let's take a look. Now I'm going to do these steps underneath the instructions that I just wrote, these symbols. I'm going to do it right underneath it. So I'm going to take -3 and multiply it times every entry in row 1. Here we go. -3 times 1 is -3. -3 times a third is -1. -3 times -1 is 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and put row 2 underneath it so that I can add it. And this is going to be my new row 2. So I'm going to write right beside this, new row 2, okay? This is going to be 0, 1, and 3. All right, now let's put the result right underneath it. I'm going to put right over here. Remember, row 1 stays what it was before, right? Okay, so here we go. There's that. Now we have a new row 2, right? There's the new row 2, and it's this, 0, 1, and 3. All right, let me highlight what we just did. Okay, so I said I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to take row 1, and I'm going to multiply by -3. There's my new row 1. I'm going to add it to row 2 to give me a new row 2. Okie doke. Let's go to the next step. Now, as you can see, I have my 1. I have my 1 in this spot. I'm going to use that 1 to create a 0 here. Right? I always use a 1 to create a 0. Use a 1 to create a 0. All right? Now, when I'm doing that, I'm always going to do a temporary. Excuse me. My eye just got something in my eye. I'm always going to do a temporary. Okay, sorry. All right, let me back up just a bit. What we just did was really the goal was creating the 0 here, right? So we got the 0 here like we wanted. It just so happens that we ended up with a 1 in the process. If I hadn't ended up with a 1 there, I would have divided this whole row by whatever I needed to divide by to get a 1 in that position. Okay? So we have a 1 in that position. I'm going to use that 1 to get a 0 right above it, right? I use the 1s to get 0s in the rest of the column. So temporarily, here we go. I'm going to take row 2 and I'm going to multiply it by the additive inverse of this, right? Additive inverse, meaning I'm going to make it turn into a -1/3. So here we go. Multiply row 2 by -1/3. I'm going to add it to row 1 to give myself a new row 1. All right, let's take a look. Now I'm going to do the actual work right over here underneath the directions. I'm going to take row 2 and multiply it by -1/3. So 0 times -1/3 is still 0. 1 times -1/3 is -1/3. And 3 times -1/3 is -1. So there's my new row 2. Now I'm going to write row 1 underneath it. Okay? I'm going to add them together. So here we go. That's going to be my new row 1. Here we go. 1, 0, and -2. Let's write the result right over here. Wrong color. Come on now. Here we go. So my new row 1 looks like this. 1, 0, -2. I'm going to leave the row 2 there, which was 0, 1, 3. Guess what, folks? We just finished. Now let me go ahead and give you one more highlighting, so give you some direction here. Here's what we did. We said I'm going to take a -1/3 temporarily. I'm going to take a -1/3 of row 2. There it is right there. I'm going to add it to the row 1 that I have. I'm going to create a new row 1 and put it right here. Now, we're going to switch to the graphing calculator, and we're going to make sure that this is correct. This is the fun part. So grab your graphing calculator and do this with me. Let's go to that right now. All right, let me back up and remember what I had originally. Oops. I had 3, 1, 3, 2, negative 3, 0. Okay, so here we go. Going to the graphing calculator. Now, I'm going to go to second matrix. You're going to go to the matrix screen. That's second x to the negative 1 power. We're going to go over to edit, and I'm going to go ahead and just press enter. Now, it's going to ask me to name the dimension of the matrix. Well, I'm going to type in 2. If I don't have a 2 and a 3 there, I'm going to just type it in right over it. Just type over it. Okay, 2 by, oops, enter, and then 3. 2, enter, 3, enter. And that's going to place the cursor in that top left corner. Now we're going to put the numbers in, the original numbers in. Doesn't matter if there's something else in your calculator. Here we go. We had 3, 1, negative 3 across the top. So here we go. Let's take a look. Let's go 3, enter, negative 1, enter, and 3, enter. It's going to automatically take you to the next row. Let's take a look again. We have a 3, a 2, and a 0. Whoops. Let me make sure I did that correctly. Oops. Okay, I'm going to go back. I can't go back. Rats. There we go. This is supposed to be a negative 3. My bad. Negative 3, enter. And I believe that was just a positive 1. Right? That's positive 1. I made the wrong thing negative. So let's move that over and let's get that to be a 1. Okay, there's that. Alright, good, good, good. Now we're ready to put in the second row, which is 3, 2, and 0. Let's take a look. So we're going to type in 3, enter, 2, enter, 0. Sorry for the mix-up there. So there's my matrix. It's a 2 by 3. I ignore the equals sign, basically, okay, and I look at all the rows and columns. It's a 2 by 3. Now I have to clear my screen. So I'm going to go second, quit, clear the screen. You need a blank screen. Now let's go back into the matrix, okay, window, but this time we're going to go to math. And we're going to go down and go to the reduced row echelon form, RREF, right there. Press enter. Now I need to go grab the matrix that I want to apply these row operations to. So I'm going to go second matrix. I got to go back into matrix, and I'm just going to press enter because I'm grabbing matrix A. Close the parentheses and press enter. Get back. Isn't that great? Isn't that what we got? Isn't that what we have? Excuse me. So we have a negative. Where'd it go? There it is, right there. This is what we have right here, and that's what they have. 1, 0, 0, 1, negative 2, 3. 1, 0, 0, 1, negative 2, 3. Now that means that our x, let's write what that means, that x is negative 2 and y is 3. Okay, so we just solved this system. We did it with Gaussian elimination, and we checked it with the calculator. Let's take one more. I think I'm going to not do the, well, I may have time to go ahead and do the third one. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 2, though. Alright, so this time it'll be a little easier for you. We're going to create a 1 right here, and I'm going to do that. Actually, I think what I'm going to do, yeah, I'll go ahead. Alright, I'm going to take a look at that one. I'm going to go ahead and take row 1, and I'm going to divide by 3. In other words, I'm going to multiply by a third and give myself a new row 1. Okay? So I have 1, 1/3, and 5/3. Again, don't be afraid of the fractions. Then I have a 6, excuse me, negative 6, 1, and a 50. Alright? Let's take a look now. We have a 1 where we want it, and we're going to use the 1 to create a 0 right here. So let's do that. Let's take row 1. I'm going to multiply it by, if I had a 6 right there, that would be great, right? So I'm going to multiply row 1 times a 6, temporarily, right? I'm going to give a temporary multiplication of row 1 by 6. I'm going to add it to row 2 to create a new row 2. All right, let's see what happens. I'm going to I'm going to show the steps right underneath these blue directions. Here we go. Take row 1 and multiply by 6. I get a 6. A third of 6 is 2. Multiply by 6 on that. That's 5/3 times 6. That goes in there once. That goes in there twice. That's a 10. Now I'm going to add that to row 2. Well, there's row 2, -6, 1, and 50. Add them together. Hey, and I get a 0 there, which is what I wanted. There's going to be a 3, and that's going to be a 60. So let's write what we have. This is my new row 2, right? This is my new row 2. Here we go. Leave row 1 the same. 5/3. And here we go. 0, 3, and 60. Yay! So my column 1 is finished. All right, let's finish this up quickly. So what we have here, oops, need to insert a little bit of paper. So what I have here now is I'm ready to create a 1 right here. How am I going to do that? Multiply by a third. In other words, divide by 3. So I'm going to take row 2 and I'm going to divide by 3. So 1/3 times row 2 to give myself a new row 2. And that looks like this. The result would be 1, 1/3, 5/3, and that's going to be 0. That's going to be a 1, and that's going to be a third of that is 20. That turned out nicely, didn't it? So let's keep going. Right, so I've got to add a little bit more paper. Now, all I need to do is now use this 1 to turn it into what I want temporarily and add it to row 1 for a new row 1. Okay, let's take a look. So I'm going to take, I would love for that to be a -1/3, so I'm going to multiply by -1/3 temporarily, -1/3 by row 2, multiply it by that. I'm going to add it to row 1 to create a new row 1. So let's do it right underneath this. -1/3 times row 2 gives me a 0, gives me a -1/3 there, and a third of 20 is going to be just 20/3, so it's going to be -20/3. Don't worry, don't panic. All right, now I'm going to add it to row 1. Here we go, 1, a third, and 5/3, and let's see what we get. We get 1, 0, look at there, and that's going to be my new row 1. By the way, isn't this nice? -20/3 and 5/3. It means I'm going to have -15/3. Well, what's -15/3? A -5? Yes. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's put our result. Remember, that's my new row 1. So here we go. 1, 0, -5. Oh, it turned out nicely. 0, 1, and 20. Let's double check on the calculator. Okay, so we go to the calculator. Let's clear the screen. Sorry, second quit. Clear. Second quit. All right, let's go to matrix, second matrix. We're going to go to edit. I'm going to continue to use matrix A. There's no reason why I shouldn't. So it's still going to be a 2 by 3. Now let's put in the numbers. We had a 3, a 1, and a 5. I'm just checking my work. A -6, a 1. I'm going to sneeze. I hope I don't sneeze in the microphone. And a 50. Okay. All right. So here we go. Now we have our matrix in there. Oh goodness, I just sneezed. Okay, so we're going to go second quit. In other words, we have to clear the screen. Now we're going to go to second matrix, and we're going to go to math, and we're going to go to reduced echelon form, which is going to be that letter B, I believe. There it is. Whoops, went too far. Come back here. Okay, hit enter or press enter. Now we have to go back into matrix to grab matrix A, enter, close the parentheses, and press enter. Get back. Isn't that what we just got? -5 and 20? I hope so. Let's look. Look what we did. We got it. Okay, so we have the -5 and the 20. There it is right there. So we have x is negative 5, and we have y is 20. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this last example on a separate video. This is getting a little bit long. Thanks for watching.